Hello there, Charlie here, uh, with my sultry voice on today. Yeah, this isn't my normal talking voice, but this is after a week of some new viral infection. Um, I'm not a stranger to whatever viruses have been invading my body for the last 2 years, but I gotta say, this one, well, it was different. Everything's been just a little bit different, and I am now 4 days away from leaving here, my new home, to go to the Omega Institute. I already have my schedule for the next couple of weeks, everything with orientation, and I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that next phase as far as what's happening for me because we decided, well, we'll back up a little bit. All of 2 months ago, was stuck, depressed, definitely in that I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of this. This meaning Connecticut. Don't know how to get out of this situation. Don't know how to move forward with life. Anything help? Therapist just asked casually, have you considered working somewhere like the Omega Institute? That day, I started looking for jobs at retreat centers that also provide you with housing because it would at least solve my get the fuck out of here dilemma. And I applied for a guest services role at the Omega Institute and got that familiar ping in my chest that just says, this was a good move. Good job. Well done. Well found. You've found one of your anchor points. And now a new timeline has opened for you. Those are kind of big life pivots that have defined a lot of the life that we led up until I came into being and have not been particularly abundant for me. The last time I'd felt it was when I saw Mabel for the first time. Saw her and it was just like, whoa, just kind of went off. The bell, I call it, because it feels like, if I were to define it, it feels a little bit like a bell going off in my heart. And even without really knowing that I would be getting the job, I just started living as if it was going to be happening, which meant needing to find a safe place for my husband and dogs to exist for 6 months. And the isolated depression center that is where we were in Connecticut wasn't going to cut it. So that immediately led to a really bad plan of moving, which just meant, like, plan to move, but like he would drop me off on the way down instead of whatever. You make a plan and you make a really bad one, and then the next day you go, what doesn't feel right about that? What else could I do? What else could we do? What feels more pressing? What feels more like what I want to do now that I can do now? And within a month, we were here. Seriously. Money that we didn't know was coming came, mostly in the form of a tax refund. But even before that, we utilized our credit scores and got a personal loan just to bridge us. And we haven't even needed to touch that yet. It's still just in our account now. I'm just kind of looking at it going, wow, look at that. Money in our account for the first time in years. Just there for when we need it. And so far, we, again, haven't needed it. We will, but yeah. Once the house can actually sell, we can just pay it off immediately, we hope. Otherwise, it's basically just a car payment for a couple of years. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? But I will be making an income. I will be bringing stuff in. The cost of living in Richmond is significantly lower than in Connecticut in every possible way. And everything really did just come together in that divinely timed way that just takes a lot of the guesswork out of it because you kind of just keep making choices. And sometimes those choices lead to really frustrating consequences. The weekend of the move was fraught. And honestly, it was fraught because I tried to change what we had already established. I tried to just, get a head start, get out, because that was the feeling I wanted to get through. And instead, what I got was a nice day-long stress cortisol, bring all the feelings to the forefront and just live with it so that I could move through it and get rid of some stuff, some gunk. And then we got to Richmond, and probably the most magical thing that's happened here is that I've made friends. Like in person friends, people with whom I exchanged phone numbers the first day I met them, and we have hung out, we have exchanged texts and emails. I've gotten client work to do Akashic record readings. After spending 2 years in Connecticut and 3 years in Massachusetts, I can confidently tell you that if you want to make friends, go to the Southeast. Because let me tell you, there's just a level of I'm in my change too, I'm in my pivot too, that is happening for so many of us. I would say everybody, but not everyone's really aware of what changes they're going through. But yeah, maybe where you are isn't going to be conducive to helping you get out of that isolation that you're currently experiencing. Maybe not. And yeah, I'd been basically praying for help with my physical health, help with not, I would say my mental health, but really just the purposelessness to life. Nothing in my life felt worth anything. I had no real service that I was providing. I mean, I've been doing what I can that feels aligned, but there's a real lack of purpose when you don't have connections and you can't see the outcome of your work. When you're sitting down with someone and you're giving them a reading and you can feel the changes that are happening on a central nervous system level, something that you can feel remotely, but it's just not the same. It is the same, similar to talking to someone on the phone or over Zoom versus being in the room and having that full sensory experience. I know, shocker. But I say that because I am a screen-based spiritual person, and I'm only very recently stepping into being an in-person spiritual person, which kind of does involve a level of coming out, just being that version of yourself around other central nervous systems. And depending on your familiarity with coming out, that may be incredibly difficult, or it might just be par for the course, right? Uh, Speaking of coming out, I'm very open on here about being a collective. We're a collective. That's the term that I'm trying to make fetch in the world. Not dissociative identity disorder, not any of the other fucking words that people use that are outdated and harmful. No, collective. And I do not know how to tell people at my new workplace that that's who we are. And the thing is, I've had people that we've come out to, like kind of seeking advice, sort of, from like mentor level people whose response basically boils down to, well, why would you ever share that? And it's like, motherfucker, it's communication, like constantly communicating. It would be to your benefit to know that sometimes you're talking to Charlie, sometimes you might be talking to Alara, sometimes you might be talking to Art, sometimes you might be talking to Gaia. It is unlikely anybody there will be talking to Scout, but I can tell you right now, it's kind of a co-living situation. Scout's going to be on the phone with Randy or on Discord or on Zoom. They're going to hear her. She sounds very different than I do. Alara, Gaia, Art, for the most part, we all kind of pass, right? It's kind of easy to mask. But Scout, she's not going to be coming out at work. She's not going to be fronting in any ways that are social. She's kind of not feeling great about that, but, this is a very isolating way of existing because it is hidden. The only reason that we're as obvious as we are is because I went through 2 years of like theatrical training in isolation to allow for full embodied expression to exist for them, because for our former family, it didn't. Before they died, the only one who could ever really tell the difference was Randy. And he could only really tell, well, he could tell. We all had different mannerisms. He could tell. But they were all really subtle. Really subtle. We're not anymore. Well, we're not. They were. We're not. So to an extent, coming out is going to be just happening, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be easy to talk about the Akashic Records. It will be easy to talk about having had a near-death experience, but also any amount of describing the near-death experience kind of lends itself to saying, also, though, we're a collective, and the near-death experience that I watched was them going through all of their life reviews for the most part, because it took several days of human time for that to be what happened, and I had to stay like awake and aware the whole time, mainly so that I actually maintained my own sense of self in the fronting position, and it wasn't like taken over, and I didn't get lost or other-sided myself. It's a complicated experience. Something that I'm still trying to... I did write it into a memoir that I then was like, I can do better. It still exists, but I removed it from Amazon. Sometimes you just want to delete your shit, especially when you wrote it in a frenzy. Nah, memoirs aren't frenzy writing things. They're slow and methodical for a reason. That's part of what I'm spending the next 6 months doing, though, is writing out some of those experiences in a memoir, and then writing about this as a memoir, as its own memoir. Collective. After a near-death experience, this collective needed a break from life and needed an opportunity to establish some ways of existing that weren't going to be possible in their everyday life. They needed a break from normalcy. They needed to be in an environment where they had access to yoga every single day, meditation, Tai Chi every single day, regular classes in all things spiritual, and just health and wellness, food that's local and green, and no real excuses, because my only real job there is to do my 35 hours of guest services work and then spend the rest of my time doing the other work that I want to do, doing the writing, taking the classes, experiencing what on earth it's like to live and work at a retreat center. I've never even fucking been to a retreat center, ever. Briefly worked at a continuing education organization that had week-long retreats, sure, so kind of understand how these things operate and run, but that's a very different energy than a place where people live and work and where there's just a campus. I've been a professor, so I also know campus stuff, but I've never even been to a summer camp. This place took over for a Yiddish summer camp after the Hudson Valley heyday of New York summer vacations declined. I've been kayaking twice in my life, and there's a lake with just kayaks and canoes. How many times will I kayak? I don't know. Will it be daily? That'd be cool. Am I overestimating what I will probably do while I'm there? Likely. Have I treated my stuff with Permethrin yet to make sure I don't get any ticks on me because I do not want Lyme disease again? No, but it's, I'm about to. I am scared for what this is going to be doing to my marriage, because we are prioritizing being friends over being married. I mean, he was in love with and married to Patricia. he's now married to Patricia's sister, new sister, little sister. The dynamic just, Randy kind of works better as like dad energy to Scout and friend to us. But will that be not how I feel after being away from him for months? There'll be a brief time in August when we'll get to see each other because we're going to a concert together. But other than that, yeah. And how guilty will I feel about the fact that both of my dogs are here and I am there? How much will I cry over the fact that I will not be with Mabel or Corbin? Probably a lot. Haven't started yet, but I can kind of feel it, like when the reality of it starts setting in and you're like, oh, yep, the feelings are definitely not going to come out now, but they're there. They'll be there. And I'm not worried necessarily about being welcomed, accepted, whatevered. I am a little worried about being othered because let me tell you, the experience that we have had about people being a fan until learning about the fact that we're a collective, and then their whole opinion of us shifts and it never recovers. Fortunately, those people like you look back and you're like, yeah, but those people sucked. So, that's when coming out is just helpful because it helps to prune away the complete unnecessary my main plan is just to show up, be who I am, be who we are, and what comes out will come out. In group situations, we tend to just kind of stay silent until addressed, and I don't see that changing. And whoever actually watches these videos, who is there, which I can't, like, why would you? You have so much to do. Why is this what you're watching? But also, hi, thank you for watching. That's really cool of you. But yeah, they'll know. Isn't that easier? Everyone just talks about you behind your back because of the things that you've already put about yourself online. Isn't that just easier? Let everyone else decide what the narrative is and then I guess do cleanup work later, maybe. I'm probably going about my life in a way that is very inadvisable by anyone who's got any sense of, but you should not overshare on the internet. I agree. You should not overshare on the internet. And yet I feel called to do this. I feel called to just share my and our story because I'm taking a leap into something that's designed by my higher self to get us back on track physically, to be physically healthy and be done with this perpetual fucking state of viral infection after viral infection, to find levels of purpose in just every single day again, to learn, have language for things that I experience and I know, but I don't have the language for it, so it does make it hard to communicate. And to kind of apprentice a little bit. Everyone who's coming to teach a workshop at the Omega Institute while I'm going to be there is doing what I not only see myself doing professionally going forward, but just what I feel called to and want to do. Share, educate, teach. It's not the first time I've been a teacher. Write, publish books, help, heal, and really understand what it is that I came back to do, because I was very clear on it when I first came back. And the subsequent trauma and just life happening in between, I don't fucking remember. Like, I knew what healing. I don't know. Teacher healer. very generic, right? But also so many other things, just like so many of us. And like, how am I doing that? Am I doing it the like do the writer thing, do the talkie thing online? I don't really see other healers who basically turn their YouTube channel into like a them show, but this is a me show because it's an us show because there's so much complexity to how every goddamn day exists being a collective. This just felt like the easiest way to get things out. It's hard to condense your life into a memoir. Like, harder still when, you know, others end up being part of that storytelling too. So, this is it. This is us. Just sharing life out loud. I'm just going to check in real quick. Did y'all have anything you wanted to say before we go?
Okay. So we asked the pendulum because we have pendulums because sometimes it's fun to do pendulums, with the yes and the no. But we don't know if we want to take Moon Knight with us or not because, um, we have Moon Knight and, Mr. Knight. Because we have some things that we're going to take, but Charlie doesn't know if we want to take Moon Knight or not. But I kind of want us to take Moon Knight, even though the pendulum said no. I want to take Moon Knight. Do you think we should take Moon Knight and Mr. Knight and we can have it just in our room? Because then, okay. Yeah. So we just going to have a couple toys when we're there too. But I'm Scout. Hi. But because we're also gonna have some of our because we have some crystals and we like some of our crystals, and the big one that we're gonna bring is this one because it's the labradorite. Because look, because like it looks like it like one way and then that's why we like the labradorite. um and we're gonna bring some crystals because that's where a lot of people will have them. But I also have the Moon Knight and Mr. Knight, and this is one of the favorite cars, but I don't know where our Volkswagen bus is. We can find the Volkswagen bus, but this one's gonna come with us too. Um no, I don't have to share anything else. And um we we got told that we're gonna make friends and that they're gonna say hi to me too sometimes. But not anybody at work because I don't work. I don't have to work. That's what Charlie has to do. Okay.
Anybody else feel like chiming in? No, we're good. Okay. Um, yeah, so we do have these little Moon Knight and Mr. Knight figures because, we're nerdy and we very much enjoyed the TV show. Um, comic, it's hit or miss. It's been better in recent years, but honestly, I'm not really a fan of a lot of the storylines and a lot of the representations. It's cool, but like Oscar Isaac, come on, it's amazing. So yeah, I guess we will probably be maybe the only people working at the Omega Institute who have Marvel toys. But hey, you know, we are not your typical um we are not your typical Akashic record reader or intuitive or medium or channeler or whatever you want to call us. Um we are very eclectic. And yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, one you really want to? No, I don't have them here. Oh god. Okay. Do you mind waiting for just a minute? I need to go get something cuz I've been asked by Scout to show you just the pictures that we're going to be taking with us. That's apparently very important. I'll be right back. Go take a water break. Take a meditation break. I'll be right back. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, just in case you're curious, what kinds of things a person takes with them on a 6 month, they have one bedroom and they're sharing a bathroom. What do they take? Apparently, for us, we are taking a few toys um, for uh, for Scout specifically. We are taking a tarot deck, our Bob's Burgers tarot deck, the Wisdom of Gaia Oracle deck from Jeanette Byro. One, because I use it as my stand for my microphone, which will also be coming with me, and two, just because. We have a smattering of crystals we're going to be bringing, including this citrine ball because, like, it just feels really nice, right? To hold a citrine ball. Our labradorite because it's kind of our favorite stone. And this bowl of just other crystal things because it just feels nice to have a bowl of crystal things, right? Like it feels like the right place to do that. Um, Also some bringing some watercolor supplies, despite the fact that I don't know how to watercolor. Um, Crystal Resonance, which is the Oracle deck that I created last summer. Hey guys. Oracle deck that I created last summer. You can actually get it on the website if you're curious. It's a print at home, cut it out, and then you have an Oracle deck game because it's a game. It's from a video game that we were making. We're not making anymore, but I'm bringing it because it's also an Oracle deck. And note cards because I plan on writing with them and painting on them. I'm gonna be taking some 3M thingies and sticking this guy to the wall so that I can put up things like pictures because I want to bring photos with me. And photos include the most recent picture I've taken of Randy and the dogs and the chaos because that just felt appropriate. Us at the Flying Squirrels game because that was cute. Us at the Monument Avenue 10K because it's cute. Mabel, this was her on that snowy day. We went to Sleeping Giant. The two of them on Christmas when we went for our hike together. This is the last time Randy and I were in New York, obviously at the Nintendo store, hanging out with Bowser. I mean, I know, like villain energy, but like, it's a fun picture. It looks like Bowser's the one taking it. And then just a photo of Corbin because I already had an extra one of Mabel and I thought his face looked really cute. Oh, and yeah, I have a series of photos of Randy eating pretzels. Like it's just a thing. It's just a thing. I've got a series of photos of Randy eating pretzels. So that's what's coming with me and going to be on my little wall. How did I mess this up? How on earth did I mess this up? I just put them in weird order. That's fine. But that's going to be so that I can see them every day, at least a little bit. Because I will probably be talking every day to Randy, but just be able to see. Oh, and thanks to the fact that I will be writing like a lot, I've had a lot of discussions with us. Yes, we'll be bringing the pendulum too. But yeah, these are these are the journals that I'm bringing, and they're not completely blank, completely empty. A couple of them have a little bit of writing in them, but in general, they're all blank. They're all empty. These are to be filled journals. And honestly, I have a few more that are blank that I might be bringing too. I do have a problem, but I'm okay with it. Because there's just something that's much more nice to write than to type. So that and clothing. Permathin treated clothing is what, and the remainder of the permathin so that I can reapply every 6 weeks or 6 washes, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the plan. That and clothing and toiletries. So that's it. That's going to be the entirety of my life for 6 months. Oh, and I get to learn how to drive a manual because my in-laws have an extra car, an old car of Randy's brother's, but it is a stick shift, and they are letting me borrow it so that I can at least have some form of transportation while I am there. That way I can also just go explore around on my days off too if I feel like leaving campus, which is fun. Maybe I'll make friends and we'll all go hiking. I made friends a week into moving back to Richmond. I'm clearly very open to all levels of friendship. So that's exciting. And that is what is happening. That's what's happening for me. We will find out if I'm overpacking or underpacking or need other things. I don't know. There's not going to be that much room. Um, oh, and a light, a lamp. Um, so yeah, I'm ready. I'm excited. And thank you. Thank you for listening to just all of that. I will be doing regular updates about life there. That's kind of what I'm shifting into with this. And also, there's going to be stories. There's going to be things from the area that are going to themselves want to come out. There's going to be light language that's going to be transmissioning through me. I have no idea what the frequency of that's going to be. I have no idea when I'm going to be uploading videos. I just know that it won't be daily. That's all. Not daily, just whenever the call comes in to do so. And I will not be bringing the puppets with me. I did also hear that, mainly just because there's not a right now for that level of what we've been doing. That was more of a fun experiment for future years. Yeah, because sometimes that happens, right? We expand into potential future things and sort of anchor them in, but they're not for now, you know? And they might not be for future you either if you take a few different life pivots before you get to what would have been. But yeah, so if you've recently been trying just a bunch of different things on and then kind of feeling the desire to put some of them down, that's part of it. That's part of the expansion. And then, okay, settle into one or two lanes, and then you'll expand again and you'll settle in. It'll happen. And just keep asking for what you want. It'll show up, and it will not be in the way in which you thought it would come. I had no idea that I would be working at a holistic retreat center. I'm terrified of what is going to be changing for us getting there. And it's good, though. I'm in the queue of a roller coaster, kind of terrified. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. We will talk soon. Bye.